Howdy y'all, you got the Bulldog on the channel. We've got issues and it is related to the question of, do we have to do it that way? No. However, it's going to cause a problem down the line. Some techs will say, oh no, you don't have to do that, don't worry about it, and not inform their customer completely about why it's necessary. You deal with this, you deal with other people's problems that didn't have to be. They were manufactured constantly. And since it's in your shop, it becomes your problem. I'll show you. That's not the four-way flashers on because I unplugged the horn. What that is the anti-theft system. This particular year of pickup had a very rudimentary anti-theft. The system is not a PATS, passive anti-theft system. It's different. It's not even a Ford product, I don't think, from what I've been seeing online. It is different in it doesn't have a chip in the key. It's not an immobilizer like the later ones are. Those can be reprogrammed. This is different. I got through tightening up the shifter on this, no problem at all. I put the thing up into park, and as soon as it hit park, it set off the anti-theft. Okay, what the heck? Now it's triggered. How do you shut it off? Well, it's easy. It really is. You just hit the panic button on the key fob. This is a 98. It don't have the key fob. I don't know where it is. The customer didn't have it when they brought it in. There's another thing that they told us that's going to be important later. In the computer, the way they have it programmed, you have multiple avenues to disable the anti-theft system once it's been triggered. I don't know why it triggered. Maybe it's because I was moving things around underneath there. There's no wires pulled off. There's no switches thrown. To trigger the anti-theft system on this, I don't think it really matters. I mean, I had the key on, it was in neutral while I messed around underneath there. But I researched a little bit. Of course, the key fob is one way to turn off that anti-theft. All right, what's another way? They left another way for it to work. You get out of the vehicle, put it in park, pull the keys out, get out of the vehicle, and just put your key in the door, lock it, unlock it manually, and that disables the alarm. I would do that, but I don't have a key. The ignition key is different. The lock cylinder has been replaced in this truck. You can get a lock cylinder from big box store for pretty cheap. That's what they did. They got a cheap lock cylinder. Okay, that's fine. But you got to keep the door key too. Because on these trucks, a lot of Fords, the ignition key also operates the doors. Well, where's the door key? Don't know. Customer doesn't know. When she brought it down here, handed us the keys, she says, don't lock the doors because it's the wrong key. So we can't disable the alarm system that way. There's supposed to be a valet switch in it. Don't know where. You look online, find a lot of stuff. Everybody's helpful. But it don't work because you go looking where they tell you and it's not there. All right, there's supposed to be a relay to disarm it. Okay. It's not there. Nothing's where it's supposed to be. Well, this is where it's supposed to be. Well, it doesn't matter because it's not there. That happens a lot when you're dealing with different, let's just say, non-standard items. These are basically aftermarket alarm systems that are factory installs. I don't know if it was put on later or what. It is integrated into the door locks, the headlights, the flashers, and the horn. You're not hearing the horn because we unhooked it. It's aggravating. There is a reason that we want to spend the extra $50 or $75 to get a code and have a key professionally cut so that your door and your ignition lock cylinder both fit. It's things like this. It comes up later. You didn't used to have this trouble. So it is hard for a lot of people to understand why you can't do that. I'm from a generation where you had two keys. You know, you had your door key and you had your ignition key. There was no anti-theft. There were idiot car alarms that constantly had problems. But you just dealt with it. And whenever you changed a lock, well, oh well, because you had two keys anyway. If you had to change a door lock cylinder, well, you're just going to have to keep that key with you. You know, it's not going to run the trunk anymore. Everybody is used to things being the way they are now, where some of them don't even have keys. They don't have manual keys that you normally use. They have key fobs. Well, that's all well and good until you forget they're in your pocket and you run through the washing machine. Till somebody pushes you into a pool because it's funny. All that stuff will destroy a key fob. You know, yeah, you can throw it in rice, but you're waiting for a day or two, and maybe it works later, maybe it don't. We've had both happen. It doesn't cost a huge amount, but it's substantial whenever you get that stuff taken care of. But this is where it ends up, doing things the right way. That's where it really becomes necessary. This thing won't start. The computer won't allow the starter relay to engage because everything's computerized. Well, can't you just wire around it? We can cobble around it. We might end up having to do that, but now we got to figure out, okay, how do we disable this alarm system? How do we find all this stuff? All kinds of information available, and so far every one of them has been wrong. They're not the ones looking, we are. So that's a little bit of a rant. I'm sorry I ran long and talked a lot without a lot of content, but it is important. It is necessary at times to spend the extra money and do it right, because somebody's going to have to deal with it at some point. Might not be you, might be the next owner. Maybe you didn't care about it. Mechanics, make sure your customer is fully informed of what this means if you do it this way. Sometimes, no matter how much you talk, you can't get it through to them. But I've found that most people, when you correctly explain yourself, will come to realize that, yes, this is a risk that I'm taking. I've had to remind some people of that whenever I turned out to be right, and they were the ones still owning it whenever it came to pass. So that's my take on it. I don't know what we're doing with us. We're going to have to disable this alarm system somehow. Since it is as rudimentary as it is, hopefully it's not a huge deal. All right, we got the Ranger all sorted out. Worked late last night, made sure that we were taken care of. I will show you exactly where this thing is. This is a passive system. It signals everything to work, to flash, the lights, to honk the horn. At least if it's a passive system, if it's in parallel with the rest of all this stuff, you can get rid of it. But where it is right here. Now that's fun. Getting in there, pulling all the panels on the inside. People on the forums all said it's below the seat belt. It's below the back glass. It's under the hood right there. Take your pick where they thought it was. What the sad part is, I think everybody who said that, it's because that's where they found it. Standardization. I mean, I'm somebody that I'm just kind of stupid. I think that I have this idea in my head that these things are all built really similar to each other, almost like they come off an assembly line, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. But what we've got is this part right here. You unplug that, and miraculously, the truck starts. So we've got it all taken care of, put back together. We're going to test drive it, make sure everything's good, and the woman can finally get her vehicle back. It's been kind of a drawn out process. She said don't worry about it as far as the time frame, because it's her extra vehicle. She only found these problems when she went to haul iron. Had it all squatted down in the back, and it started doing all kinds of things. Maybe they were related to the anti-theft. A lot of it was related to the fact that it desperately needed a tune-up. The exhaust fell off. She thought that they'd stolen her catalytic converter, and I get underneath there, and no, it's rusted in two. So we were able to get enough pieces to put in there and save the system. It just one spot was bad, so we were able to get that attached with a factory appearance. So she's good to go. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share it all around. Talk to you later.